She texted from a club. Oops, missed your surgery. Flights are crazy. I replied, rest up. Then I put the hospital staff on a no-visitor list and updated my advance directive. When she arrived with balloons, security already knew her name, and her expression when they stopped her said everything. 34 male. I'm currently propped up in a hospital bed, my left leg encased in a brace the size of a small canoe. The pain is a dull, throbbing baseline, but it's nothing compared to the sharp, clear note of betrayal that's been ringing in my ears for the last 36 hours. For months, my life was a countdown to one event: ACL reconstruction surgery. It's a major procedure, a long recovery, and something you need a support system for. My fiancée, Maya, 31, was supposed to be that system. She was my emergency contact, my healthcare proxy, and the person who was supposed to drive me home to the recovery station we'd set up in our apartment. She had a critical work trip for 3 days before the surgery, but she swore she'd be back. Her flight was scheduled to land the night before my 7 a.m. hospital check-in. She would be there, she promised. At 3:12 a.m. on the morning of my surgery, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Maya. Maya, babe, flights are crazy. So sorry, flight got canceled, won't make it for your surgery. Oops, thinking of you though. Rest up. My blood went cold. Oops. The dismissiveness was a slap in the face, and something felt off. I couldn't sleep, so I did what any anxious person would do. I scrolled through social media. A mutual friend had just posted an Instagram story. It was a noisy, flashing video from a club in the city Maya was visiting. And there, in the background, was Maya, laughing, drink in hand, with some guy's arm around her. The timestamp was 15 minutes before she sent me the text. There was no canceled flight. There was a party. She didn't forget. She chose. Lying in the pre-dawn darkness, a profound, chilling clarity washed over me. The woman I was going to marry had just left me completely alone on the day of a major surgery, lying about it with the casual indifference of someone canceling a coffee date. My first call was one of shame and panic. My older brother, Ben. I explained the situation, my voice cracking. He didn't hesitate. I'm on my way. Don't worry about a thing. My second and third actions were more methodical. After I checked into the hospital and was settled in the pre-op bay, a kind charge nurse came to review my information. Everything looks good, Alex, she said. We have Maya listed as your primary contact and visitor. I need to make a change, I said, my voice steady. Please remove Maya from my visitor list entirely. She is not to be allowed in my room or given any information about my status. No exceptions. The nurse looked at me, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. She simply nodded. Okay, Ani. I'll update the chart and inform security. Next, I asked to speak to a patient advocate. A social worker came by a few minutes later. I need to update my advance directive, I told her. I want to revoke Maya's status as my healthcare proxy and assign it to my brother Ben, effective immediately. She handed me the paperwork. Filling in Ben's name and signing mine next to the line that officially stripped Maya of any power over my medical decisions felt like the most sane, rational thing I had done in years. Ben arrived, a calming presence in the sterile chaos. The surgery went well. When I woke up in the recovery room, groggy and in pain, he was there. Not her. The next afternoon, through the haze of painkillers, I saw a commotion down the hall near the nurse's station. It was Maya. She was holding a ridiculously large bouquet of roses and a get-well-soon balloon that bounced against the ceiling. She was in full worried fiancé mode, her face a perfect mask of concern. I watched as she spoke to the nurse, who then pointed toward a hospital security guard standing nearby. The guard approached her, spoke quietly, and shook his head. Maya's face cycled through confusion, then indignation, then outright fury. Her voice rose, and even from my room, I could hear fragments. My fiancé! Ridiculous! Let me see him. The guard was firm. She was not on the list. She was not coming in. Her expression when she turned and saw me watching her from my doorway, a look of pure, unadulterated shock that her key to my life no longer worked, said everything. My phone, sitting on the bedside table, began to vibrate incessantly. A string of texts. What is going on? They won't let me see you. This is insane. Alex, tell them to let me in. I'm your fiancé. I just looked at the screen. Then I looked at Ben, who gave me a quiet, supportive nod. I didn't reply. I just turned my phone over and closed my eyes. Update 1, I'm home now, ensconced in the recovery station that feels more like a fortress. Ben has been a saint, helping me with everything from getting food to navigating the treacherous journey to the bathroom. My leg is a useless, throbbing appendage, but my mind has never been clearer. The digital siege from Maya and her family began the moment she was turned away from the hospital. Dozens of missed calls, voicemails ranging from saccharine sweet to shrewish, and an avalanche of texts. I ignored them for 2 days, focusing on my immediate recovery. Finally, I decided to answer one of her calls, mostly to make it stop. "Finally," she screeched. "What is wrong with you? Do you have any idea how humiliated I was? Being escorted out of a hospital like a criminal? I flew all the way back for you." "No, you didn't," I said, my voice flat and tired. "You flew back when the party was over. There's a difference. I saw the pictures, Maya. It was a work dinner. My boss made us go. You're twisting things to be cruel," she fired back, the lie coming so easily to her. "And my flight was canceled. I had to rebook. You're punishing me for something that wasn't my fault." "It doesn't matter anymore," I said. "I was alone when I needed you. I made new arrangements. Ben is my proxy now. You're not welcome here." "You can't do that," she shrieked. "We live together. We're getting married. We have thousands of dollars in non-refundable deposits. Are you just going to throw all that away over a misunderstanding?" Her immediate pivot to the money was telling. Not, "I'm so sorry I hurt you." Not, "How is your knee?" It was about the financial fallout, the inconvenience to her. Then came the call from her mother, Diana. "Alex, dear, I think you're overreacting," she began in a condescending tone. "Maya is distraught. She made a small mistake. You're a man, you're supposed to be strong and forgive. To abandon her when she's so upset, it's just not right." The audacity was stunning. I was the one who had surgery, and she was the one who needed support. "Diana, with all due respect, your daughter abandoned me. The conversation is over." I hung up. The next dirty trick was an attempt to bypass me entirely. I got a text from one of her friends, Chloe. "Hey, Alex, Maya's super worried about a big project on her work laptop. She asked if I could swing by and grab it for her. I have a tea." I knew for a fact that Maya had taken her work laptop with her. This was a reconnaissance mission, an attempt to get an agent inside the apartment. Ben handled it. He waited by the door, and when Chloe showed up, he politely but firmly blocked her path. "Sorry," he said. "Alex isn't having visitors. If Maya needs anything, she can schedule a time with me to come and pack her belongings under my supervision." This, of course, led to another furious call from Maya. "You're treating me like a thief, having your brother guard my own home against me?" "It's my home, Maya. You're no longer on the lease. And yes, you need a chaperone. Your trust score is 0. As for the wedding, I spent an entire afternoon on the phone, methodically dismantling the future she had torched. I called the caterer, the photographer, the venue. I explained that the wedding was off. As she had so helpfully pointed out, many of the deposits were non-refundable. Total loss was around $8,000. I ate it. It was the price of my freedom. After the calls, I sent her a single final email. The subject was canceled contracts. In it, I attached a spreadsheet. It listed every vendor, the date I had canceled, the total deposit amount, and the amount that was non-refundable. I highlighted the total loss. At the bottom, I wrote, "This is the financial consequence of your trip. As I have paid all of these deposits myself, I will not be seeking your half. Consider it a parting gift. All future communication regarding the removal of your belongings from my apartment must be directed to Ben. Do not contact me again." I blocked her number. I blocked her mother. I blocked her on all social media. The silence that followed was the best medicine I've had all week. Update 2. The day of the move-out arrived like a storm front. Ben, ever the stoic guardian, was here to supervise. I was parked in my recovery station, a comfortable recliner I'd bought specifically for this period, with a custom swing arm table for my laptop and essentials. It was my command center. It was also, unfortunately, in the living room, where the main event was to take place. Maya arrived alone. The performative sadness was gone, replaced by a cold, hard fury. She didn't look at me. She just started grabbing her things, throwing them into boxes with a violent carelessness. The air was thick with unspoken rage. She saved her most symbolic act for last. As she was about to leave with her final box, she walked past my recovery station with a full, steaming mug of coffee. Her arm jerked, and the entire mug of dark, sugary coffee went splashing all over the beige fabric of my new recliner. "Oops," she said, the word dripping with venomous sarcasm. She didn't even glance back. She just walked out the door. The smell of stale coffee filled the room. Staring at the ugly brown stains spreading across the chair that was supposed to represent my healing, I didn't feel anger. I felt a deep, profound pity for her. This petty act of vandalism was the only power she had left. But the story doesn't end there. Ben, it turns out, is more than just a good brother. He's a bloodhound. Her story of a canceled flight and a work dinner never sat right with him. So he did some digging. It wasn't hard. A few of her friends, disgusted by her behavior, were more than willing to talk. The critical work trip was a complete fabrication. Her company had no record of it. It was a planned girls' getaway to a city known for its nightlife. And the man from the club photo? He wasn't a random stranger. He was an ex-boyfriend she'd been talking to for months. The trip wasn't just a party. It was an audition. She was trying him on for size, seeing if he was a better option, all while keeping me, her stable, dependable fiancé, on the hook. She didn't miss my surgery by accident. It wasn't an oops. It was a deliberate choice. She chose a weekend with her affair partner over being by my side. I waited a week. I let her think she'd had the last word with her coffee-stained insult. Then I asked our core group of friends, the 4 couples who would have been in our wedding party, to join a group video call. I told them I needed to talk to them about the wedding being canceled. Maya, who was in the group chat, accepted the call, likely thinking it was a chance to play the victim and tell her side of the story. When everyone was on the call, I started. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just laid out the facts, my voice as calm and steady as a surgeon's. "I know you're all wondering what happened," I began, "and you deserve the truth. 2 days before my surgery, Maya told me she had a work trip. On the morning of my surgery, she texted to say her flight was canceled. This was a lie." I continued, laying out the timeline, the Instagram story, the lies about her boss, and then the final brutal truth Ben had uncovered. "It wasn't a work trip," I said, looking directly at Maya's pixelated, horrified face on the screen. "It was a vacation with her ex-boyfriend. She lied to all of us. She wasn't there for me because she was with someone else." The silence on the call was absolute. I could see the shock and disgust on our friends' faces as they looked back and forth between me and Maya. "Maya," I said, my voice dropping, "that coffee stain on my chair? That's nothing. You stained our entire relationship, our friendships, everything, and you did it with your eyes wide open." She started crying, trying to stammer out denials, but the damage was done. I had presented the case. The jury, our closest friends, had seen the evidence. I hadn't destroyed her reputation with public posts. I had simply revealed the truth to the people whose opinions we both valued. Her victim narrative was dead before it could even draw breath. "I think that's all that needs to be said," I concluded, and ended the call. Final update. The last 6 months have been a slow, arduous, but steady climb back to normalcy. Physical therapy on my knee has been grueling, but every bit of restored mobility feels like a victory. Ben was my rock through the worst of it. The real healing, though, has been emotional. The group video call was the kill shot. As I'd hoped, it completely neutralized Maya's ability to spin her narrative. Our friends, presented with the unvarnished truth, were appalled. They didn't viciously attack her. They just quietly excised her from their lives. The group chats she was in went silent. The invitations stopped. She had built her social life on a foundation of my stability, and when that was gone, the whole structure collapsed. Her affair, predictably, fizzled out. The ex-boyfriend was apparently not interested in the drama or the baggage that came with being the other man in such a spectacular implosion. He was there for the fun trip, not for the messy fallout. Without my income subsidizing her lifestyle, and with a torched social circle, Maya had no choice but to move back in with her parents. I've heard through the grapevine that she is miserable, constantly complaining about how one little mistake ruined her life. The complete lack of self-awareness is staggering, but not surprising. She still sees herself as the victim of my unforgiving nature, rather than the architect of her own demise. I never heard from her or her mother again. My email about the wedding deposits, followed by the video call, was a 1-2 punch of factual and social consequences they couldn't recover from. The revenge was never about hurting her. It was about protecting myself. By immediately revoking her access to my hospital room and my medical decisions, I took back control at my most vulnerable moment. By methodically dismantling our shared future and preemptively telling the truth to our friends, I ensured that her betrayal couldn't be spun into a weapon against me. She wanted to treat me as an option, a safety net. My response was to remove myself as a choice entirely. The stained recliner from the recovery station sat in my living room for a month, a monument to her pettiness. One day I had Ben help me haul it down to the dumpster. Watching it get tossed away was more therapeutic than I could have imagined. I bought a new one. It's just a chair, but it's clean. I'm still recovering, and I'm not ready to even think about dating again. The betrayal left a scar. But it's a clean scar, not a festering wound. She showed me her true character in the most brutal way possible, and I responded not with rage, but with logic. I accepted the reality she presented and acted accordingly. She gambled that I would be a doormat, that I would absorb her oops and carry on. She lost. And the most satisfying part is that she has no one to blame but herself.